This is it. I mean, like today is the starting bell for the election. Super Tuesday poll closing schedule, Vermont 4 p.m. Eastern, Virginia 4 p.m. Eastern, Ohio 4:30 p.m. Eastern, Alaska 5 p.m., Georgia 5, Massachusetts 5, Oklahoma 5, Idaho 6, Tennessee 6, North Dakota. We're going to know tonight where it's at, and I do hope Mitt Romney is the clear winner, because he's the only one who might beat Obama for many reasons. However, you heard me say I'm scared that he's going to do a McCain by being middle of the road and not get elected. And you also heard Donald Trump on the show say certain things that I pray are true about Mr. Romney. And I want to read you the line again from my book, Trickle Down Tyranny. Economies can be rebuilt. Armies can be repopulated. But once a nation's pride is gone, it can almost never be restored. If you've listened to this show for the last 17 years or whatever the number of years are, you understand that every talker and every writer seeks to achieve some degree of immortality through his writing. I don't know how else to put it. Very few of us ever do so because we're not the greatest on earth. But once in a while, we hit the mark. I've done so a few times in my life, such as when I stated liberalism is a mental disorder. I don't care whether the liberal media agrees. You know I'm right. You know that statement will live in forever. Liberalism is a mental disorder. People who hate their own country, a country as great as this, they hate. People who hate the church, people who hate their father and mother, people who hate family. Liberalism is a mental disorder. But listen to this line. Advice to the next president. Economies can be rebuilt, armies can be repopulated, but once a nation's pride is gone, it can almost never be restored. It's as good as Oliver Goldsmith's great poem that I read on this show many years ago, a 17th century English poet. And I am telling you that I wrote this as the opening line for a key reason. I want it to be spoken around the country and around the world. Why? Because we can talk about the economy from today until tomorrow. We can talk about fixing roads, cutting corruption from today until tomorrow. But I don't hear any of the Republican candidates talking about our nation's honor. You understand that a nation has a soul, a nation has a heart, and a nation has a soul? If all we're going to get are technocrats talking about technical fixes for Obama's disasters, then we're not going to have the fix that we need to repair the heart and soul of the United States of America. The loss of a nation's honor is something not even centuries can repair, I write. Now, I want to do something else for you. When I'm looking at a book in a bookstore, I read the opening paragraph, and then I go to the back of the book. And I want to see what it says at the back of the book. May I read you a paragraph from page 264? Tell me if you agree. You ready for this one? You remember it was I, Michael Savage, who defined George W. Bush as a fiscal socialist during the last 2 years of his term. I explained to you how he expanded the federal government and made it larger than the previous 3 administrations combined. So if Bush was a fiscal socialist, what does that make Barack Obama? It makes him a fiscal Marxist. Never before in American history has a single president expanded the government so rapidly and accumulated so much power to himself. Never before have we seen this level of overt cronyism, corruption, and graft. Just as Europe is beginning to move away from large government and entitlement spending and toward lowering taxes to stimulate private enterprise, Obama, who is stuck in a perennial 1960s purple haze, is taking this nation in the opposite direction. Even Cuba is moving towards some privatization and reducing the number of Castro government jobs. In the meantime, Barack Obama, the tired 60s radical, keeps pushing in the opposite direction. Let me set the record straight for you about the Obama presidency with a brief catalog of his accomplishments. And I can go through them. I'm not going to read them to you. You can read them for yourself by ordering your copy of Trickle Down Tyranny, which won't be in the bookstores for about a month. But I need you to show the world that you listen to this show and stand with me by ordering this book online today. It's going to send a powerful message to the publishing industry. And by the way, the more pre-orders there are, the more the chances are the book will be in the front of the stores when it comes out. Okay, I've said enough about it. And now let's go back to Super Tuesday. Let's go back to Mitt Romney. Let's go back to Donald Trump on the show. If you want to see and hear the interview again, rather, we're going to have it up on michaelsavage.com by the end of the program. There's a beautiful picture of my dog Teddy and I and Mr. Trump on the top right. Underneath it is another interesting article by lifetime leftist Democrat Alan Dershowitz from Harvard. Lifetime leftist Democrat Dershowitz says Obama could be the Chamberlain of the 21st century if he fails to stop Iran's development of the nuclear bomb. So even a man who voted for Obama, even a lifetime left-winger like Alan Dershowitz, who I'm no big fan of, by the way, when it comes down to it, he understands the danger that we are in with Barack Obama. Tied into that is another story we posted, which is Netanyahu gave Obama a symbolic scroll of Esther. Those of you who are Jewish know what the scroll of Esther means. Those of you who are Christian and practice your religion probably know what the scroll of Esther means. Those of you who watch HBO probably think Esther is the name of a new HBO pornography series, but it isn't. The scroll of Esther speaks volumes about Israel's tensions with the current Iran, because in the past there was a Persia, and there was a plot by the Persian leader, the King Haman, to kill all the Jews. Netanyahu said then, too, they wanted to wipe us out. Netanyahu tells the U.S. president they're giving a gift of the scroll of Esther. So he handed him this gift that spoke volumes about Israel's tensions with Iran, an ancient Hebrew tome about a Persian plot to annihilate Jews, otherwise known as the Scroll of Esther. The scroll of the Megillah tells a tale of palace intrigue featuring a Jewish beauty, Queen Esther, who charms a Persian king into foiling an evil advisor's genocidal plans for her people some 2,500 years ago. Netanyahu told Obama, then they too wanted to wipe us out. I don't know if you know this, but Jews around the world will gather in synagogues on Wednesday evening to read the Megillah on the eve of the Jewish holiday of Purim, a celebration of salvation, of turning the tables on one's foes. So, if you think that the Bible is rubbish, if you think that the Bible is antiquated, if you think that with the advent of the Internet, God is dead, I think that you're mistaken. And I think you have to understand that history is repeating itself and it's coming around all over again. And if you're dancing with the Persians, then you're dancing with the new Hitlers of our time. That's my opinion. It doesn't have to be yours. I only wish it were. 1-800-449-8255. MichaelSavage.com. Let's go to the callers. I invite you to call me at 1-800-449-8255. You've got a comment on the interview with Donald Trump, what I said about Mitt Romney, or my reading from Trickle-Down Tyranny. Any of those topics, I think, are worthy of discussion right here and right now. Let's start in New York City on WOR. David, thank you for listening so intently. You're on the Savage Nation.
I agree with you and Donald Trump that Mitt Romney is the most likely Republican candidate, but there's a dark side that make him crash and burn toward the end. It's the fact that Mitt Romney is or was a bishop in the Mormon Church. You can Google that phrase, Mitt Romney, bishop in the Mormon Church. The New York Times did a piece on him.
Oh, I understand. So why is being a Mormon a crime?
Well, when you Google that website, Romney the Bishop, it says that he was involved in secret Mormon rites.
Please, that's like saying Jews slaughtered Christian children and drank their blood.
No. This is a secret cult, a cultish practice. You have to realize the Mormons were a very violent...
Oh, please. Why is it that Romney's Mormonism is a problem while Obama's Islamic background is of no interest at all? What is this?
Because Mitt Romney is the bishop, according to the New York Times.
Wait, but hold on, stop. Barack Obama was a Muslim at birth and went to a madrasas. How come that was not an issue in the media at the time?
Would we elect a Catholic bishop to be president of the United States?
Well, would we elect a Muslim to be a president if we knew he was a Muslim?
It depends if he was a teacher of Islam. In addition, a bishop of Islam. But what I'm saying is that this may...
Well, he went to an Islamic school as a child. His father was a Muslim. His adopted father was a Muslim. Doesn't make him a bad guy, but he's hidden that part of his background. I would say that's a secret past of Obama, wouldn't you?
Well, the point is...
All right, well, think about it the next time you start slandering Mormons. I personally like Mormons, and I'm going to say something I mean. I have worked with Mormon people. I think they're the most honest people I've ever met on the planet. I've worked with many different kind of people in my life. I've never had a bad experience with a Mormon. I've never had a Mormon cheat me. I've never had a Mormon try to cheat me legally. I've never had a Mormon try to get the best of me. They're straight-up people. They're good people. Therefore, the religion is good. Period. End of story. So as far as what they believe, that's their business. It has nothing to do with the election. Nothing. The only reason guys are bringing it up is because they want to smear him. Let's go to Florida, WFTL. Troy, welcome to the Savage Nation.
Dr. Savage, you were mentioning the Bible, who God loves, he chastens, and I feel like you treat Mitt Romney the same way. You want him to be better than he is at the moment. But let me tell you, there's a big difference between criticizing and being outrageous. Mitt Romney, he can twist a knife with a smile on his face better than anyone I've ever seen. You look at his speech last Tuesday after Michigan. He just picked apart the president. But he doesn't have to do it in a way that's going to make people's eye roll. You know what I'm saying?
I disagree. I believe that in order to, there's one thing to be a media-savvy person like Mitt Romney and please his advisors. He's not going to get the base out unless he starts to attack Obama more viscerally.
I think he has attacked Obama. He spent a year attacking Obama. The campaign...
Well, how come he said nothing about so many of the issues that plague us today? Or, he speaks in platitudes. Mitt Romney speaks in general platitudes, like a kid running for a presidency of a high school class, like a GO president. If I'm elected GO president, I'll make sure everyone's happier. That's what Romney sounds like.
I think that started to change. I think he's gotten a lot more specific, not just on his attacks, but what he would do for the country. And I think that's good to see, because he's needed to be...
Well, let's hope that you're right, and let's hope that he listens to Donald Trump, and let's hope he comes on the Savage Nation where you can express your appreciation for his moderation. But I'm going to repeat what Barry Goldwater said, and I realize Barry Goldwater was a failed candidate. Do you remember what Barry Goldwater said, the last true conservative the Republicans had ever seen, at least to my mind? He's more conservative than Reagan was. Remember what Barry Goldwater said? Moderation. Remember that one? Do you have that soundbite, guys? If you do, Beowulf, you won't believe it. I don't want to mangle it, but it's the best thing I've ever heard. It summarized it in one sentence, because Goldwater was accused of being too extreme. And Goldwater said extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice. Moderation in the pursuit of justice is no virtue. Now that's what Mitt Romney needs to understand. Extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice. And if he's going to listen to these clowns who advise him, who last year were probably advising Democrats or Hugo Chavez, and next year might be advising Chinese leaders in China on how to rig and win an election, he's not going to win this election. He has to get visceral. He has to get specific. And he has to be more extremist in the defense of liberty, as I do in trickle-down tyranny. I'll be right back.
Savage.